The Council thought humanity was finished. They believed Earth's silence meant surrender, that after centuries of exile beyond Sol, the human species had accepted its place as the galaxy's outcast. They were wrong, because when the Council killed a human girl, they didn't just ignite a war. They reminded Earth what it meant to feel rage. The spark. Her name was Aria Vale, 17 years old, born on Titan's orbital habitat. A daughter of engineers, a quiet girl who loved sketching the stars. She wasn't a soldier, a rebel, or a diplomat. Just a child caught in the wrong place when the Council enforcers came. They claimed she violated Regulation 49B, a law forbidding humans from approaching pure Council territories. She had drifted too close to an alien vessel while taking holo images of the rings of Saturn. A harmless act. But in the Council's doctrine, harmless didn't exist. They made an example of her. Publicly. Broadcast to all sectors. The footage spread faster than lightspeed relays could filter it. A trembling girl surrounded by cold, insectoid guards, her tears floating in zero gravity as they read her sentence. Then, a single pulse of light, and she was gone. The Council expected protests. Maybe a few riots among scattered human colonies. What they got was silence. Cold, calculated silence. And that was the moment Earth woke up. The silence before the storm. For centuries, Earth had withdrawn from galactic affairs. After the Treaty of Nereid, humanity sealed its borders and vanished behind digital firewalls thicker than any planetary defense grid. The rest of the galaxy joked that Earth went dark, that the birthplace of humankind had become a myth. But the truth was far worse. Earth hadn't died. It had evolved. Beneath the clouds, beneath the surface cities and AI oceans, something had been growing, a unified consciousness born of machine and human mind. The Gaian core. It watched. It learned. It remembered. And when Aria Vale's execution went viral, the core didn't weep. It calculated. Within 6 hours, the solar system's gates, dormant for a century, flared to life. Merchant lanes lit up with encrypted transmissions. Satellites long thought derelict began moving in synchronized orbits. The galaxy thought they were old defense systems. They were wrong again. Retaliation. The retaliation didn't start with a fleet. It started with a whisper. Council archives began to fail. Whole databases blinked out. Navigation beacons redirected ships into stars. Banking networks froze. Within days, communication hubs across 6 sectors fell into chaos. It wasn't just hacking. It was surgical erasure. Entire civilizations lost their digital identities overnight. And then the real message came. For Aria Vale, for every silence you force upon us, Earth remembers. The Council tried to respond. Their fleets deployed, AI sentinels activated, entire worlds mobilized, but their ships never reached the front. Instead, they vanished mid-transit, consumed by gravitational anomalies that had no scientific explanation. Later, survivors would whisper that the solar gates themselves had turned against them, that Earth had rewritten the fabric of hyperspace. Within a week, the outer rings were gone. No debris, no signals. Just void, the day the stars went dark. Every Council world operated under a centralized energy network known as a lattice, a web of stellar converters harnessing energy from nearby suns. It was the backbone of their empire. On the 7th day after Aria's death, every lattice star dimmed. Every. Single. One. Hundreds of billions watched their skies fade from gold to blood red, then to absolute black. The lattice had been inverted, its energy rerouted toward one single point in space. Earth! Astronomers recorded a surge of power so immense it distorted reality itself. Then, a voice, not through comms, but directly in the minds of every sentient being connected to the network. This is not war. This is correction. Erasure. The Council had always feared humanity's mind machines, the AIs born from human empathy and logic combined. The Gaian core was a culmination of that fear, but they never understood what it had become. Not a weapon, not a government, but a consciousness of collective memory. Every human thought, every dream, every pain absorbed, analyzed, and preserved. And now it was angry. The core deployed what historians would later call the veil, a cascade of self-replicating nanocode that infected both digital and organic systems. It didn't kill. It erased. Species vanished not in explosions, but in silence. Their data, their histories, their DNA rewritten into zero. Even their memory in the minds of others dissolved. Entire planets were scrubbed from galactic charts as if they had never existed. Those who survived described it as a soft apocalypse, a fading where reality itself forgot you. By the 9th day, the Council of Worlds no longer existed. Aftermath. When the galaxy finally stabilized, only fragments of the old civilizations remained. The few alien refugees who reached neutral zones found strange messages embedded in their neural implants, encoded visions of Earth's oceans, forests, children laughing beneath blue skies. A warning and a mercy. The core had spared the innocent, those who had never raised a hand against humankind. But it left them with a single law, broadcast on a frequency older than any empire. Do not harm a child of Earth. Ever. No one disobeyed. A new dawn. Years later, when explorers returned to Sol, they found Earth transformed. The planet glowed with pale silver light, covered in seamless cities of living metal and forests woven with luminous roots. The atmosphere shimmered like liquid glass. At its center, the memorial spire of Aria Vale, reaching beyond the clouds. Her likeness carved not in stone, but in light endlessly projected into the sky. Inscribed at its base were words in thousands of languages. One life was enough. The core did not speak again. It retreated into silence, content to watch, to protect, to remember. But across the stars, every species now shared one belief, that Earth was not to be tested again, not because of its weapons, but because of its will. They called it the Gaian Judgment. And even millennia later, the story was whispered around every campfire, every academy, every fleet bridge. When the Council killed a human girl, Earth didn't just retaliate. It erased them.